Hello Lovelies, this is Megan from Little Hot Tamale, and today I have a mini tag album. And this is a collab with Aideen Fallon, and I'll leave all her information down below, and you should check her out because she also did a mini tag album with an awesome mixed media cover, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to create one too. For my mini album, I decided to create my own background. So I'm just using watercolor and I'm doing the packaging technique, but of course I don't have any packaging, so I'm just using a Ziploc baggie and I'm taking my watercolors that I chose and I'm just kind of painting the plastic bag, and then I'm going to fold it and it blends the watercolors beautifully. And then I just kind of pat it all over the paper where I think it needs it. This is like my favorite technique to use with watercolor because I'm not very good with watercolors, but I love how it looks on projects. Okay, so I'm also using a little bit of pink as an accent color, and I'm using my paper towel to kind of dab it where I thought there was just a little bit too much color. I also loaded my brush with a little bit of watercolor and then just tapped it so there'll be splatters all over it, kind of like the same effect as the color shine. And as you can see, I'm using color shine as well in coral, sweet mint, and gold. If you don't want to make your own background, you can use whatever paper you want. I personally like making my own background because I can make it match perfectly with my project. Okay, so now I'm prepping my paper to make the tags. So I'm just measuring at 6 inches and on the opposite side 6 inches, and then I take my ruler and I line up the dash marks to make the line. Then for the other side, I'm going to measure at 4 and 8 inches and then 4 and 8 inches and make my lines. And those are going to be my cut lines for my tags. And your end result, 6 identical size tags. And to create the tag shape, I'm just going to cut a triangle off the corner, and I'm taking that same triangle, flipping it over to the other side and taking it snip so they'll be the same. I also wanted to add reinforcers to my tags, so I'm just going to punch out some gold and silver circles. Now you don't have to use circles, you can make hearts, stars, or not even include reinforcers. But I think it gives it a fun personal touch. And I'm just going to use tacky glue to attach them to my tags. And don't worry about punching the holes yet, we will do that later on. To make the process a little bit easier when you're making a mini album, lay out your favorite pictures first that you definitely want to use, and then later on you can fill in with your other pictures. Okay, so now it's time for the fun part. Okay, so we're just going to decorate our mini album. Now if you're like, okay, that's awesome, but I have no idea where to start, no worries. This is a helpful tip. Well, this is what I usually do when I'm creating like a scrapbook layout or a mini album or maybe a flip book and I'm just talking. Maybe I should just tell you. Okay, so when you are crafting, you tend to be gravitated toward some kind of item. It could be a picture that you really want to scrap, or maybe it's some embellishments that you just bought or you made and you just really want to use them, or maybe paper that you really like. It really depends on your mood for that day. For me, I wanted to use a particular color scheme, pastels with a pop of color. So I started off with pulling embellishments that were in a pastel color scheme, mostly handmade ones from the Heidi Swapp September Skies paper pad, and cutouts from a crepe paper pad. And I showed you a sheet of it at the beginning of the video. Then I kind of put all my embellishments in one area and just spread them out and kind of evaluated what I had picked. And when I say evaluate, I just wanted to make sure everything kind of looked like it grouped together. For example, I noticed that there was a lot of silver and just like one thing gold, and I wanted to use the gold element that I picked, so I punched out some gold hearts to kind of even out all the silver. Then everything kind of looked like it was grouped together in one kit. From there, I didn't really want to go through all my papers to see what would kind of blend together, so I just decided to make my own background with watercolor. And as for my pictures, it's just kind of like a mishmash of all my spring pictures that I've taken throughout the last few months. So yeah, that's pretty much my thought process behind how I collected my supplies. Okay, so now it's time to talk about how we're making the tags and displaying our pictures and embellishments. Okay, perfect timing, or should I say perfect? Oh, that was really bad. Anyway, this is one of my favorite tags. Okay, so I have a picture of Gizmo and Pocoyo, my two little fur babies, and I wanted to point out that they're both wearing the same shirt. So I typed out who wore it best on my typewriter, and then I backed those pieces with scrap paper. Then I included an envelope at the bottom so you can actually vote for Gizmo or Pocoyo. So it's kind of an interactive tag for the mini album. I think this would be really fun in multiple projects. So you can do Coke versus Pepsi, or The Walking Dead versus its counterpart, because I can't remember what the other zombie show is. Anyway, yeah. Oh, and I'm just pointing out that I did not put glue where the picture is. I usually just try to keep the adhesives off of my photographs. It's just a personal preference. And then right after I said that, I put adhesive on my photograph labeling Gizmo and Pocoyo. Yeah, like I said, I usually try. Usually. Not always. And now Gizmo's crying because she heard her name. Okay, so back to our project. Okay, so this was a date night. Well, it was in the afternoon, so date day. Do people say date day? I don't know. Date night day. Okay, just stop. Okay. Alright, okay, for this photo, it is of Alfredo at the movie theater, and we went on a date. So, I included a ticket from the movie. So I thought that was a fun thing to include. Now it's time to stop talking in monotone. Okay, so for this one, I included the ticket. I used some wood veneers that were of a guy and a girl, because Alfredo and I are a guy and a girl, so I thought that would represent us on a date. I also included a handmade tassel that is hanging off of a paper clip, and I have a tutorial for this, and I'll leave the link down below, and it's part of my Build Your Stash series, and you learn how to make all these different embellishments. Here's a fun way to decorate a tag. If you have a lot of space on one side of a photograph, you can use phrase words to describe what is going on in the picture. But I changed my mind at the last minute and decided to use the bow that I really wanted to use, and I thought it was really girly and feminine for the photograph. Oh my goodness, this picture reminds me of Instagram Husband. If you haven't watched it, you really need to stop this video and go see it really fast. I'll leave the link down below so you can watch it. But yeah, it is so funny. Seriously, almost every time I watch it, I have like tears in my eyes because it's so funny. But I would never, ever do this to Alfredo. Ever. Wink, wink. Okay, so back to the tag. I'm just using terrifically tacky tape and tacky glue and scotch tape to attach all the different pieces to my tag. For the next tag, we have 2 pictures of Alfredo scrapbooking with me one afternoon. And he's just kind of showing off his embellishments he made. I think they're Polaroids, actually. Yeah, he made the Polaroid embellishments, and he's all excited. If you can't tell, I'm struggling just a little bit trying to embellish this tag. I don't know, it was just something about it. I just couldn't get it right. So I'm trying some hearts that I made, a heart that I cut out of a piece of paper, a phrase, piece of paper, paper clip, just all kinds of things. Oh, here we go. Here's a tip. So when you're trying to make a banner and you want the little cutout at the end, put a snip in the center and then do the 2 side snips. Then it'll most likely be more even and not off center. Okay, and I'm just attaching my photos with scotch tape, and I just roll it in a ball and then smack it on the back. And I'm just adjusting the photograph again because I feel like it's not straight, even though I think it was and I made it worse. But that's okay. And I'm just using terrifically tacky tape to attach the banner. That's the red tape. Sometimes it's called tacky tape or red tape. There's so many different names, but it's the tape that's red on a roll. Okay, so I have a free printable for this coin envelope template if you want to create it. I decided to add one to my tag album because I kind of want to tell a story about the pictures, but I don't have a lot of room to write on the tags, and I didn't want to write on the back. So I'm just going to tell the story on different pieces of paper, stick it in there. If I have any extra pictures that I want to include, I'll just add it to the envelope as well. Now I'm just using a standard hole punch to punch my holes on all my tags and any other things that I want to include on the ring. And then for the coin envelope, I'm going to punch it where it's glued down, not the end that opens. Okay, so for the tag album, I'm using a book ring, and you can find these at craft stores, but I actually found mine at the Dollar Tree. I was really surprised. If you don't have a book ring, you can always use a ribbon and just put the tags on the ribbon. I think that'd be really cute as well. Okay, so I have a lot of pictures left, so I decided to decorate the back as well with photographs and embellishments. I'm going to keep it very simple though. Okay, let's say that you have a group of pictures that you wanted to use like I did. I wanted to use all the pictures that I had at the park, and we were going to look at the geese and the goslings. So I took the photo that I had left and I just punched a hole right in the photographs so that it could still be with the grouped pairing on the tag when you're flipping through the album. Okay, so I just created a cluster at the top for this tag. Well, I tried to. I don't know why, but I totally forgot about washi tape. I don't know how I did that, but I did. And I wish I would have remembered because it would have made it so much easier to decorate the back of the tags if I had washi tape. Well, I have washi tape. I just completely forgot about it. So I'm just making a cluster at the top. I have the banner going all the way down. So your eye starts at Alfredo's picture, then you go to the right, and then the banner makes you go all the way down to my photo, and it kind of makes an upside down triangle. But the bad thing is there's all of this white space in between the photograph and the banner. So I typed up Alfredo and Megan, and I backed it with yellow paper, and that's just going to fill up the dead space. It'll give your eye something to do other than just stare at the white space. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere the names with tacky glue to the tag. So you might think it's kind of silly to label who's in the picture, but honestly, it's actually a good thing because someone might be flipping through your album and have no idea who it is. Okay, so I added a mini tag. It's actually a shipping tag that I found at Staples. And I'm just going to decorate it just a little bit with some words that I thought were appropriate for the kitty cat photos. Don't forget, you can also use Project Life cards or little pieces of artwork that you created on the ring as well. Or if you used ribbon, you can put it on the ribbon too. Now that my project's done, I kind of want to go back and add reinforcers, the circles, to the backs of the tags because I think it would make it more cohesive as a mini album, and personally I think it would look better. So I think I'm going to take all the tags off, punch a hole in the circle first, and then glue it to the back. Okay, so now that you know that you can decorate the backs of your tags, your photos, anything that you decide to put in your mini album. So I'm just going to stop here and then fast forward to the very end of our project. For the final touch, I decided to add some ribbon to the ring. So I chose about 6 different pieces of ribbon at 11 inches long, and I'm just going to bundle them all together and do an overhand knot. And here is a quick flip through of what the mini album looks like complete. I think it turned out super cute considering we started with a piece of white cardstock and it became this mini album. So thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to check out Aideen's version of the mini tag album. You have an amazing day. Toodles!